Good evening and welcome to Your Time to Shine with Darlene and Julie. Your Time to Shine is a radio show devised to help you get inspired about your own divine gifts. Tonight, I am your host, Julie, and we have our special co-host, Shauna Fisher with Nature's Keeper. And Shauna is with us here tonight. Darlene couldn't be with us. So tonight we have something pretty exciting to talk about, talking about comfort levels and getting pushed out of your comfort level. So we all have comfort levels. We all have a space where we like to be. Shauna, I'm sure that you have your own comfortable little space that you like to be in as well. What would that look like?
You know what? Being comfortable to me means like, it's just, being at home with my animals and my comfort. And it's, sometimes being in comfort means you're not growing. And what's really interesting, before we got on the call today, I'm sitting here in my car and in the parking lot, there's this bird that is just like trying to unbury something like that. And the message that came through was sometimes you just got to work on unburying yourself and just kind of break out of that comfort zone was kind of the message I got. I was like, wow. And then it flew right by my car. I was like, holy moly. I was like, okay, I get the message. Yeah, pop that bubble sometimes, right?
That's right. Yeah. So, if you can imagine, your comfort zone is this little tiny bubble right here, but what's out over here, that is where you're growing. That is your uncomfortable zone. And in order for us to grow and to keep changing, we have to go and venture into that bubble. And like you said, pop that bubble. And I can tell you from experience here, just when Darlene called me and said, hey, let's do a radio show, I was like, oh my gosh. So I was way out here outside my comfort zone. So, Shauna, what was outside your comfort zone that you were able to obtain?
Oh gosh, you know what? I would say probably my first radio interview I ever did about animal communication. I was like, oh my goodness, how do I do this? And it was amazing. It was so much fun. Because I feel like once you get out of that comfort zone, you feel so empowered, right? Especially when it's something that makes you come alive, right? Don't you feel that with the show? I'm sure that it's really kind of helped you just really align more with who you are, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a scary thing, to think, oh my gosh, I've got this radio show and I've got all these people that are eventually going to be listening. And, but once you get into it, like you said, once you find that space, then that bubble becomes a little bit larger and your comfort zone becomes a little bit larger. And so it's all about growing that comfort zone. Whether you are doing this in your personal life, whether you are doing this in your working life, or whether you are doing this in your spiritual life, we all have to go through these growth periods and we all have to push ourselves to get past that barrier. Sometimes it takes personal relationships, it takes friends, it takes partners, to push us past that point. And, Shauna, I'm sure when you started your animal communication, just that in itself was kind of pushing you past your comfort zone.
Absolutely. Yeah. Even though I realized I was always doing it, and, sometimes even now I'll admit before I get a session, I'm like, oh my gosh, what if I don't pick up on anything? What if nothing comes through? And then it all like flows and happens, right? It's just a part of that humanness, right? I'm sure you get that way too with, different things in your life too, right? With the readings you do and all that, right? You're like, oh no, what if nothing comes through? And it always does, right? It always
Yeah,
does.
absolutely. It always does. It always comes through. And, so for those of you out there who are just starting maybe on your spiritual path, and maybe it is that you want to do readings, maybe it is you want to do animal communication, or maybe it's tarot card reading, there's always going to be something there that, doesn't feel quite comfortable, doesn't feel quite right. And just know that if it doesn't feel comfortable, that you are on the right path. Because if you're doing something that's comfortable, then it's not really worth doing. right?
Right. Yeah,
So
because you're stagnant. You're not moving forward with life, right? Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. You're just kind of sitting there, and you can't grow and you can't expand when you're doing that. So keep that in mind. If something that you come up with, no matter what it is, if it terrifies you, if it scares you, know that you are on path, and it's something that you should explore and take a look at, because that is the only way that you're going to find out if it's truly what you want to do.
Right. Get your feet wet, or kind of like the bird that flies, right? You don't think the birds worry, oh gosh, am I in my wings? What happens if something happens to my wing? They just go for it, right? They don't worry. They just take off and they just fly, right? They're just so brave and bold. And yeah, that's empowering to me to look at that.
Yeah, absolutely. Or the mother bird who literally pushes the baby birds out of the nest. Here, it's time to go fly.
Right. And they do it, right? Kind of like the first time maybe you were swimming, right? You just kind of got pushed into the pool and I was like, okay, you can do it, right? So, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's like, oh, I think I'm going to swim now. So, yeah, it's all about getting out of that comfort zone, and becoming more comfortable with something new and some larger comfort zone. Um, I think it's really, like Shauna said, it's really empowering when you finally take that step and actually do it. You're like, wow, look what I did. I really did this. I really did this on my own. And it's just an empowering, amazing moment to do
Hmm.
that.
Yeah, it makes you come alive, right? Like it makes you come alive. It's the things that make you come alive that it's amazing, when you experience that. It's yeah, breaking out of that comfort. Just wow, okay, I'm alive. I'm doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Um, like I said, starting this radio show was really out of my comfort zone. Even doing readings, I still get nervous when I get ready to do a reading, but that's just that human nature side of it.
Hmm.
So yeah,
It is
it's
absolutely.
yeah, it's really crazy how that works.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. I look at the animals. I always use them as my example for bravery in life because you look at them and how they just go forth and they just live in the moment. They don't worry about things. They just go for it, like the squirrel jumping up the tree or anything like that, right? Just, yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's really great. Like you said, animals are amazing like that. They don't have all those preconceived ideas that us humans do. So it makes it a lot easier to deal with. So yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of, are you ready to take a caller or two?
Yeah. Let's do it. Yeah. Let's do this thing. Let's do it.
Oh, all right. We have Whitney in Lancaster, Ohio. Good evening, Whitney. Welcome to the show. You're talking with Julie and Shauna.
Good evening, lady.
Hi.
Hi.
What can
Well,
we help you with?
well, I was wondering if my grandmother or my daughter have a message for me.
I'm getting a really strong presence of your grandmother.
Hmm.
Um, Hang on. Let me tune in for just a minute. Shauna, are you picking up anything while I'm tuning in here?
Yeah, I keep getting like mother of pearl and pearls. I keep picking up like on pearls and like a strand of pearls. And I see them both like that they have these pearls and they're, moving the pearls side by side. And it's like they're your pearls of wisdom and that beauty. And they just want you to just kind of move and do some things that you've been wanting to do that you haven't been doing, that you've been holding back on, that were maybe things that you did with them. They say that it's
Hmm.
okay to go ahead and do those things. And something about pearls, find them some pearls.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know if it was pearls that were one of that they had for you, or if you're going to go out to the store and find some pearls or something. So yeah.
Okay. Right.
I'm picking up that the pearls are having to do with something from a generational type of thing. Pearls, back in the era, probably when your grandma was born, or when she was growing up, pearls were a very special thing. Not everybody had pearls, right? Especially real pearls.
Right.
So to me, the presentation of the pearls are, to look at life. It's very precious, and to, like Shauna said, really dig in and do some of the things that you want to do. Don't waste that time, because life is too short and too valuable.
Right.
And so, that's when I have seen the pearls. That's kind of what has come up in topic on that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I like.
Yeah, and your daughter is coming through, and she's just wanting to say, that she's with you all the time. And do you ever just stop out of the blue and start thinking about her?
All the time. All the time.
Yeah, she's with you all the time. So it's validation. So if you're in the middle of doing something and her something that you and her used to do pops into your head, if you feel like, oh my gosh, I need to pick up the phone and call my daughter, those are all validation signs that she's right there with you.
That's good, because she actually died the day after she was born, and I just wonder, like, if she even knew who I was.
Oh yeah.
Because okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
She does. Shauna, do you have anything else to add to that?
Just exactly what you said, and just go forth and just sit with that and know her presence is always there with you. It always is. And of course she knew, right? She knows, and she's still with you. She's one of your shining lights. Yeah.
That's good to know. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight. Next, we have Jody in Knoxville, Texas. Good evening, Jody. You are on with Julie and Shauna.
Knoxville, Tennessee.
Oh, Tennessee. I'm sorry. Yeah. My eyes are blurry. How are you tonight, and what can we do for you?
I'm doing fine. I would like to have a reading, what is going on, and whether I am going to be moving, relocating to another, to an apartment. I just like to know what will be going on in my life.
Yeah. As you were saying that, I saw this vision of a moving truck driving by. So I get the feeling that yes, there will be some kind of a move coming with you very soon.
Okay.
Hang on, let me tune
what
in.
has happened here is my mother passed away last June, so it'll be my first anniversary without her here. She passed away back on June the 3rd of last year, so I'm still grieving a lot for her, and but I'm trying to move forward a bit and trying to get on with my life, and I'm just trying. I'm pretty overwhelmed right now with the start of moving, and what I want to do is knock this house down and rebuild. And so, do you see me doing that?
Shauna, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely my heart goes out to you at the passing of your mom. I definitely can see that. And I feel like there's something and it could be on the property where you're at, something with west. So something that's like west of you is you're going to do. So maybe like something with the kind of how the house is going to be set more west than it is east. I feel like you're going to do that, and you're going to do some revamping of the house. And there's like the special room that you want to create. And I feel like it's kind of have like a little step down to it, and it's going to be like some sort of beautiful sunroom or something like that. I feel like your mom wants you to do something like that with a window to bring the sun in, because she was always that bright spot in your day. And she always, you know, still will be, but she wants you to have something with like the sun and a window and like some sort of sun catcher, and yeah, just to symbolize that sun and light that she was for you.
Okay. I just want to carry on her legacy. That's what I'm trying to do. And she was such a really wonderful person and a wonderful mother, and she loved everybody. And I'm hoping I can be like her in a way. Do you see me doing that? Do you see me? Do I want to carry on her legacy?
Yeah, you are, and you are like her. Yeah.
Yeah, you are. I was going to say,
and that's what I want to do is carry on forward, move on forward in my life. So it's really been a traumatic loss for me since she's been gone. But what do you see in my future?
Well, I'm picking up that your mom was a real character. It is like she's joking, you know, through this entire thing, and not in a mocking type of way, but in a way of she's trying to ease your pain and ease your grief. I know when you were talking and saying, you know, my mom had passed away, and yeah, you were still grieving, and I hope you don't take this as disrespectful, but she was kind of like going, get over it already, you know. And, you know, you have to understand that you need to take your time in your grieving process, and continue on doing what you love to do. Don't forget to continue doing those things that you love to do, because in continuing those things, you're continuing her legacy as well. But I feel like she was just a really bright, intense light. She could turn anybody's mood around instantly.
Yes, she did. She really did.
Yeah. And so that's what I'm kind of picking up with her, kind of that sense of humor. And, you know, she's really wanting you to know that, you know, she's really sorry that she had to leave. And that hopefully one day that you will be able to look at her or think of her and smile, and see the joy rather than the tears. And she's really looking forward to that day. But she also knows that you know, as humans, you have to grieve, and that process, there's no time limit on that process. So
exactly.
give yourself that time, give yourself permission to do that. Okay.
Well, let me say this. You said you see me moving, and what I'm going to be doing is I'm hoping to move out of here by late June or July, late June or early July. I have looked at 2 apartments that I'm interested in. I don't know any of them. I don't know if the one I'm more interested in, I'm hoping it'll pan out. I don't know for sure, but can you tell me a little bit about that?
Is there one that's surrounded more by trees than another one is?
No. Well, it's surrounded close to the mall, close to West Town Mall, and it's close to the grocery. I'm right at the grocery store's door, practically. So it's very convenient to the area. I'm really convenient to the area, to the shopping area.
Right.
So
I'm being shown a tree with a swing in it. So, a couple of things. It could be that you should get somewhere where you can be closer to nature, or find something that can give you that playfulness to remind you to play.
Mm-hmm.
Shauna, do you
Okay.
want to add anything to that?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And there's something to the west. So maybe that's, that could be, there's something to that. So, yeah. And I agree with Julie 100% as well. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And don't
Well, I
just
do thank
let-
you
let it be.
for giving me a reading here.
You're absolutely welcome.
Y'all are very accurate.
Well, thank
So-
you. Well, I give you my condolences. I know how hard that is. I lost my father a year and a half ago, and I too myself am still going through the grieving process. So, it takes time. It takes time.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's something we never get over.
No.
So,
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Jody, for joining us this evening. We are coming down to the end of our show for this evening. I want to thank Shauna for jumping in on such quick, late notice.
Thank you for having me. It was fun as always. Thank you.
Always fun to have you on the show. And please go to her website, Nature's Keeper at
.info.
Okay, at info. And then you also check out our website, yourintuitivementors.com. You can always find us on our Facebook page as well, Your Time to Shine. So it has been a great night. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on our show. And we will see you all next Thursday.